Some stupid calls calling me again, like interrupting my reading. She does everything in her power to protect her home and survive for her family and to go her way. When farmers have no option for plowing the food, troughs for their animals will be clean, but the farmers will be unable to make a living. The only way to keep your life free of people problems is to keep it free of other people. But if your life is empty of people, it is useless, and if you live only for yourself, your life loses its meaning. Instead of avoiding people, we should serve others, share our faith, and work for justice. Is your life clean but empty, or does it give evidence of serving God wholeheartedly? A wise woman builds her home, but foolish woman tears it down with her hands. And those who follow the right path fear the Lord, and those who take the wrong path despises him. They don't like him, they don't like his ways, they don't like following him, they don't want to hear anything about him. A fool's proud talk becomes a rod that beats him, but the words of the wise keep them safe. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 4. Without oxen, a stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest. An honest witness does not lie. A false witness breathes lies. A mocker seeks wisdom and never finds it, but knowledge comes easily to those with understanding. Stay away from fools, for you won't find knowledge on their lips. The prudent understand where they are going, but fools deceive themselves. Fools make fun of guilt, but the godly acknowledge it and seek reconciliation. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the godly will flourish. We all know that mockers, people who scoff at every word of instruction or advice, wisdom excludes them because they don't seek seriously. But wisdom comes easily to those who apply God's word, the Bible, to their lives and seek out godly counsels. If the wisdom you need does not come easily to you, perhaps your attitude needs to change. In Proverbs 14:9, fools make fun of guilt, but the godly acknowledge it and seek reconciliation. How rarely we find goodwill and reconciliation in society today. Angry drivers yell at each other in the streets. People fight to be first in line. Politicians scream across the aisle. Disgruntled employees both demand their rights. But the common bond of God's people should be goodwill. Those with goodwill admit their shortcomings and think the best of others. They have good motives and intend to do what is right. When someone crosses you and you feel blood pressure rising, ask yourself, how can I show goodwill to this person? It's like the people at work, they're so freaking mean. Some of the workers, like real nasty, like they didn't like me for some reason. And I didn't do nothing to them. I didn't say nothing. They had like this kind of like weird attitude. And then she would apologize every time, but I didn't accept it. I didn't understand. She wasn't really sorry, but she did it every time, being mean. That's why I felt uncomfortable. So this Bible has a lot of like good things in it, like, and I hate.
The bottom part of the passage in your image is a reflection about Proverbs 14:9, and it talks about goodwill and reconciliation. especially in a world full of anger, division, and self-centeredness. Here's a breakdown of what it means. How rarely we find goodwill and reconciliation in society today. It's saying that true kindness and peace between people are hard to find nowadays. Many people hold grudges or fight for their own way. Angry drivers yell at each other. Politicians scream across the aisle.
Yeah, it's not safe
These
to
are
be on the road
examples of how
anymore,
people
like driving.
argue and refuse to listen or show understanding. Everyone wants to prove they're right instead of showing grace. Disgruntled employers and employees both demand their rights. In workplaces and relationships, both sides often focus on what they deserve instead of how they can work together or forgive. But the common bond of God's people should be goodwill. Christians are called to be different, to show love, forgiveness, and patience, even when others don't. Those with goodwill admit their shortcomings and think the best of others. True goodwill means being humble, recognizing our own faults instead of judging others, and choosing to believe the best about people, not assuming the worst. They have good motives and intend to do what is right. People filled with goodwill have sincere hearts. They aim to do right in God's eyes, not just to win. When someone crosses you and you feel your blood pressure rising, ask yourself, how can I show goodwill to this person? When someone makes you angry, instead of reacting with frustration, stop and ask, how can I show God's kindness here? That's how we reflect Jesus, responding with grace when others expect anger. In short, it's teaching us that being a child of God means showing kindness and forgiveness, especially when it's hard. Goodwill isn't about ignoring problems, but about choosing peace, humility, and understanding instead of anger and pride. Would you like me to help you write a short prayer or reflection based on this passage?
So back to Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12. Going down at the chapter. There's a path before each person that seems right, but in the end it leads to death. Laughter can conceal a heavy heart, but when the laughter ends, the grief remains. Backsliders get what they deserve. Good people receive their reward. Only simple men believe everything they are told. The prudent carefully consider their steps. The wise are cautious in the word danger, and fools plunge ahead in reckless confidence. Short-tempered people do foolish things, and schemers are hated. Simpletons are clothed with foolishness, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Evil people will bow before good people, and the wicked will bow at the gates of the godly. And the poor are despised even by their neighbors, while the rich have many friends. It is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. And if you plan to do evil, you will be lost. If you plan to do good, you will receive unfailing love and faithfulness. Work brings profit, but where talk leads to poverty, and wealth is a crown for the wise. The effort of fools yields only foolishness. A truthful witness saves lives, but a false witness is a traitor. And those who fear the Lord are secure. He will be the refuge for their children. Fear of the Lord is a life-giving fountain. Most you can have, not seeking or chasing the wrong things, doing bad things to other people. You want a secure life, you are being the Lord. You won't fall into destruction. Of doing evil, He will be a refuge for their children. Fear of the Lord is life-giving fountain that flows unconditionally. It offers escape from the snares of death. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. People with understanding control their anger. A hot temper shows great foolishness. A peaceful heart leads to a heavy body, and jealousy is like cancer in the bones. Tell me about it. Jealousy. Those who oppress the poor assault their maker, but helping the poor honors him. The wicked are crushed by disaster, but the godly have a refuge when they die. Wisdom is enriched, and understanding heart wisdom is not found among fools, and godliness makes a nation great, but sin is a disgrace to any people. A king rejoices in wise servants, but is angry with those who disgrace him. So it gives a little chart in my Bible where it says wisdom and foolishness. It says right here, Wisdom and foolishness. The wise and the foolish are often contrasted in Proverbs. The characteristics, reputation, and results of the choices of each worth knowing if wisdom is our goal. The wise help others with good advice, enjoy wisdom, consider their steps, are hungry for knowledge, value wisdom above riches, respond to correction, have eye on wisdom, profit from correction, trust in wisdom, control their anger is wisdom, crown with knowledge, and calm anger, stay on the right path, conquers others' strength with wisdom, and avoid wicked paths, and grow stronger. And then it says the foolish are the ones that lack common sense, enjoy wrongdoing, are gullible, avoid the wise, and feed on trash. Do not respond to punishment, have eyes that wander to the ends of the earth, and blame favor on God. Yeah, it's not. Become examples to others, are proud and ignorant, despise the wise. Advice, repeat their folly, and trust in themselves. Unleash your anger, clothe with foolishness, and cause quarrels and insults. Receive no honor and stir up anger. Enjoy going a foolish way, and lash out when discovered in folly. Are endangered by their words, and walk a treacherous road. Will never be chosen as leaders, and must be guided by hardship. Persist in foolishness. I mean, didn't Job blame God?
That's a really deep and wise question, Amy. And you're right to notice that even strong believers in the Bible, like Job, struggled with their emotions and questions during hard times. Let's break this down clearly. Did Job blame God? In the book of Job, he never cursed or rejected God, but he did question why God allowed him to suffer. He said things like, open quote, "Why did I not perish at birth?" Job 3:11. "And I cry to you, God, but you do not answer." Job 30:20, close quote. These verses show Job's honest pain, not rebellion. He was deeply hurt, confused, and felt abandoned, but he still believed God was in control. At the end, in Job 42:2-6, Job humbles himself and says, open quote, "I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." That means he came to understand God's wisdom and sovereignty even in suffering. Close quote. Difference between blaming and questioning. Blaming God means accusing him of wrongdoing or injustice. Questioning God means being honest about pain and confusion, but still trusting him. Job's heart stayed loyal even when his words were emotional. God even said in Job 42:7 that Job spoke rightly about him, meaning God understood Job's heart was sincere. Other people in the Bible also struggled. David in Psalms often cried out, "Why, Lord?" Psalm 13, Jeremiah felt forgotten and said, "You deceived me, Lord." Jeremiah 20. Jesus himself on the cross said, my God, why have you forsaken me?" All of these show that God welcomes honest hearts even when they're hurting. He doesn't reject us for asking questions. He draws us closer when we keep talking to him instead of turning away. So that verse you saw in the image, blame failure on God. It's pointing to people who refuse responsibility, those who sin, suffer the result, and then accuse God or others instead of repenting. That's different from someone like Job, who didn't sin, but suffered deeply and sought understanding from God. Would you like me to write a short reflectional prayer from Job's story about trusting God through confusion and pain?